Now the next one is going to sound dated. It's definitely going to sound dated because it is. Um, in the 1920s, there was a kind of song with this kind of bumpy, grindy ballad undertone to it that was about how the woman feels because she was mistreated or because the man doesn't love her. There's so many examples of that, but I actually wanted to sing you an example of exactly the same kind of song that you all know. It's just the introduction of it, but everyone knows that the song that Barbara Streisand sang at the end of Funny Girl was really a Fanny Brice hit from the 1920s, My Man, which was actually a French song that was given English lyrics. Oh, my man, I love him so. He'll never know. All my life is just despair. And the way they did it in the movie, because it was the 1960s, they updated it. So, but originally it would have had this sort of bumpy. If you listen to an old recording of it from the 1920s, it would have been, oh, my man, I love him so. He'll never know. But anyway, so I want you to hear the introduction and you'll understand why they left out part of the introduction because it 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 is very dated about the fact that a woman would say these things and still love her man. So this was the introduction to My Man. It cost me a lot, but there's one thing that I've got, it's my man. So cold and wet, tired you bet, but all that I soon forget with my man. He's not much for looks, and no hero out of books is my man. 2 or 3 girls has he that he likes as well as me, but I love him. I don't know why I should. He isn't good. He isn't true. He beats me too. What can I do? And then it goes into the song, Oh My Man, I'll live. And so obviously it would have sounded out of place in 1969 when they made the movie A Funny Girl for Barbara Streisand to do the He Beats Me Too. It wouldn't have made sense in the story either, because obviously her husband didn't beat her. That wasn't the problem why they broke up. Anyway, but I just wanted to get a flavor of this song so you can appreciate this song I'm going to do for you right now called Can't We Be Friends? And it also has this sort of like Italian opera feeling with this little thing that happens in the music. But it's an interesting song, but the way it's presenting this woman, she's very upset because the guy broke up with her and just wants to be friends. So it's a little melodramatic to our modern ears to hear this, but just imagine how this would have gone over on a stage production in the 1920s. I took each word he said as gospel truth, the way a silly little child would. I can't excuse it on the grounds of youth. I was no babe in the wild wood. He didn't mean it. I should have seen it. Now it's too late. I thought I'd found the man of my dreams. Now it seems this is how the story ends. He's going to turn me down and say, can't we be friends? I thought for once it couldn't go wrong, not for long. I can see the way this ends. He's going to turn me down and say, can't we be friends? Never again, through with love, through with men. They play their game without shame, and who's to blame? I thought I'd found a man I could trust. What a bust! This is how the story ends. He's going to turn me down and say, can't we be friends? I thought I knew the wheat from the chaff. What a laugh! This is how the story ends. I let him turn me down and say, can't we be friends? I acted like a kid out of school. What a fool! Now I see the way this ends. I let him turn me down and say, can't we be friends? Why should I care, though he gave me the air? Why should I cry, heave a sigh, and wonder why? I should have seen the signal to stop. What a flop! This is how the story ends. I let him turn me down and say, can't we be friends? So that's unusual. I bet you never heard that. But it's all, I mean, to me, it's so melodramatic that she's making such a big deal about this. But you know, that it was another time. It was a very distant time, and I was trying to just do it straight as I could to get it across. And it's funny, the second verse, the B section, I never heard this expression. Why should I care though he gave me the air? And in Don't Bring Lulu, it used the same idiom, the same slang. Evidently, from what I can figure, that means that he dumped her. If you give someone the air, you're like leaving them. I don't know. Did you ever hear of that? I never heard of that. Give you the air. But in two songs that I happened to choose at random, happened to use that same expression.